On today's Locked On Jayhawks, Kansas wins 99-61 over the Manhattan Jaspers.
You are Locked On Jayhawks, your daily podcast on the Kansas Jayhawks, part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.
I'm Derek Johnson. You can hear me as well Monday through Friday from 3 to 6 p.m. on KLWN in Lawrence with Rock Chalk Sports Talk. Thanks for making Locked On Jayhawks your first listen every day. We are free and available wherever you get any of your podcasts. And on today's edition of the show, we are going to be talking KU basketball against Manhattan, 99-61 as they improved to 2-0 on the season. First, this episode of the show is brought to you by Jace Medical. You can get yourself a Jace case today, providing you with a personal supply of 5 antibiotics that treat 50-plus infections. Get yours today at jasemedical.com. That's Jase medical.com. So KU wins 99-61 in this one, and a game that kind of similar to the North Carolina Central game. You dominate them at halftime. You let up a little bit more defensively in the second half. You still win by a very large margin, and you clear 90 points and fall just short of getting to 100 points. So Kansas shot 57% in the game. Obviously, very good shooting game for them. They continue to dominate from 2-point range, where they went 28 of 41. So again, that's basically 67%. You're basically talking this team shooting in the mid 60% from twos over their exhibition games, plus their 2 regular season games. 3-point shooting came around again, 10 of 26 from 3-point range. And that's kind of what we said coming in. We said, it doesn't have to be the same as it was last game. You don't have to go 13 of 23 to show that you're a good 3-point shooting team, but build on it. Show some consistency in what you're doing. And, 38% from 3 in a second game after what you did the game before shows a lot of that consistency and, really shows what I think you're looking for from the 3-point shooting that can be a little more consistent than you think. I think a part of that is that, you have Johnny Furphy now, and he might be one of your, 3 best shooters on the team. So that's certainly going to help in that area, but they're also good free throw shooting. Just an all-around effort for KU. Not as many assists as last time, but, still kind of racking those up. A little more turnovers, but still nothing that was, I guess, overly much, especially when you're, putting on walk-ons for really the second straight game, like 7 minutes or less to go. So, just an all-around good effort by KU. It's hard to, similar to the last game, distinguish that, they're dominant and this and that, because what Bill Self said in the postgame rings true. Things start now. Kentucky, and then you have the Maui Invitational. Those are going to be true tests of where you really are. This game, while you dominated when you should dominate, and you actually dominated by more than prognosticators were expecting when you look at the spread or some of the metric sites, you're not going to learn your overwhelming takeaways from a game like this. You're going to learn more from the Kentucky game than we will the first 2 games combined for KU. So from that standpoint, the season starts here, but an impressive first 2 games. And again, what I said last game after KU beat North Carolina Central and kind of everything was clicking, no notes. All right, we're going to continue on with our goats of the game here. First, this episode of Locked On Jayhawks is brought to you by eBay Motors. Passion, drive, and patience. What brings home the winning trophy is also what keeps your ride or die alive. eBay Motors has everything you need to maintain your vehicle and level it up to peak performance, from superchargers, roof racks, exhaust kits, LED headlights, and more. Whether you're into speed, power, or style, eBay Motors has got you covered. With over 122 million parts for your number one ride or die, you'll always find exactly what you're looking for. And with eBay Guaranteed Fit, your parts guaranteed to fit your ride every time or your money back. Because with eBay Motors, you're burning rubber, not cash. With all the parts you need at the prices you want, it's easy to turn your car into the MVP and bring home that dub. Keep your ride or die alive at ebaymotors.com. Eligible items only. Exclusions apply. So go to the game. This is more of a bonus episode of Locked On Jayhawks for what it's worth. And if you're looking for the KU Texas Tech preview with that happening later this morning, you can find that on our show, anywhere you get your podcasts, or like and subscribe on our YouTube page with Locked On Jayhawks. It's KU 99, Manhattan 61. Good GOAT, KJ Adams, 14 points, 5 rebounds. He only played 21 minutes. He was 7 of 8 from the floor, just dunking everything, just dunking machine. He's going to lead the team in dunks this year. That feels very certain to me. I know Hunter Dickinson, it's when you're 7-2, you should be able to, get a decent amount of dunks just from that being the case. But KJ Adams is going to lead the team in dunks, and he was throwing some down with authority. Hunter Dickinson gets a good GOAT here. 18 points on 7 of 14 shooting. He also had 8 rebounds, 2 assists, and he did that in 20 minutes. So, extrapolate that out. Most games he might play 30 minutes, right? And so if he's playing 30 minutes, if you just push that out, that'd be like 27, 12, and 3. Hunter Dickinson continues to be really good. But this next game against Kentucky will be more of what you expect from size matchup coming against him. Although if they're playing Trey Mitchell at the 5, he still will have a nice size advantage on Trey Mitchell. It'll just be interesting how he defends Trey Mitchell, but that's a story for later next week. Elmarko Jackson, I think gets a good GOAT here. 9 points for Elmarko. He had 10 assists in the game, which kind of snuck under the radar. 3 of 6 from the floor, hit a 3, 29 minutes played. Now, I debated whether I wanted to put him in or not because, you heard from Bill Self that, it's not totally real stuff that he was doing at the end of the first game and the end of this game because, you're playing against backups of Manhattan. And so it's not like the most impressive thing in the world in what he did. But the fact that he did do it and we are seeing growth there, these are the games that he has to have that runway for. He was only playing basketball for less than a handful of years before he came to KU. So I thought good GOAT there. I thought Elmarko played well. Kevin McCullar gets a good GOAT, 15 points, 7 rebounds, 4 assists. He was 5-9 from the floor, also 26 minutes. So you got to keep the starters kind of rested, which Bill Self said afterwards he wished he would have played some of those guys later, which I don't know. I guess if you were betting on player props, you would have probably agreed. But it probably, worked out okay and feels like you're having them rested and in the right spot kind of going forward. So Kevin played really well. Again, the 3-point shooting didn't fall as often, but there's going to be games like that. It was good to see him still be aggressive at it and, 4 for 4 on 2-point shots. I thought off the bench, Parker Braun gets another good GOAT here. 10 points, 5 rebounds, 2 assists. He was 4 for 4 from the floor in 17 minutes of work. I continue to be really impressed with what he's done. Now, it'll be different against Power 5 level competition than it will be against some of these for a guy who is a little bit thinner in stature at the center position. So we'll see how he handles those games. But so far, A+ from what you're getting from the backup center minutes right now. And then our last good GOAT here, I thought about putting Jamar McDowell in here too, 5.6 rebounds in 14 minutes. I thought he was pretty solid and active. But Johnny Furphy, man. Johnny Furphy, 15 points, 3 rebounds in 20 minutes of play, 6 of 10 from the floor. He was aggressive. He was getting up and down in transition, whether it was for easy layups or the 3-pointers he hit. He hits the one from the corner to get things going. 3 of 7 from 3-point range. Furphy looks the real deal from the 3-point shooting. He's active out there. He's lengthy. He's going to get you some rebounds. He's going to be able to drive and finish around the bucket. I continue to be really impressed with him. And I don't know. I'm wondering, I know I went back in last show and I said, I think long-term, like once you get maybe December conference play, Furphy would be the 5th starter. I'm kind of wondering if it's going to happen as soon as the Kentucky game. I don't know. I think odds are still that it would be Elmarko Jackson. Timberlake struggled a bit in this game, 1 for 4 shooting, which, if your main job is going to be the shooting, you are going to have games like that where you're just not hitting shots and you play less minutes. That's your role, right? But with Furphy, man, so far, it just seems like, normally you have a great meal and the first bite is delicious. And then the second bite and the third bite and the fourth bite, they're still really good, but it's hard to capture that first bite. Johnny Furphy is the rare meal where you eat the first bite, it's really good. You eat the second bite, it's even better. You eat the third bite, it's even better. And you're like, when is this going to stop? So Furphy's been electric so far. As far as bad GOATs, I mean, I guess you could go a little with the turnovers being a little more sloppy, 14 turnovers. You'd like to see that number down a little, but that's not anything exorbitant. The only thing would be not getting to 100 for the second straight game. You were stuck on 99 for the second straight game. Now, last game you were stuck on 99 for a little longer with the clock than you were with this one, but I don't know. I don't really have anything too big negatively to criticize, and that doesn't mean there aren't negatives for the team. It's just it's hard for it to show it in these first 2 games. We'll probably see more of those in the Kentucky game. We're going to continue on with Locked On Jayhawks. What's next for KU basketball? First, this episode of the show is brought to you by Jace Medical. Don't be caught unprepared. The Jace case provides 5 life-saving antibiotics for emergency use. All it takes to get a Jace case is fill out a simple online form, and in some cases, jump on a quick call with one of their board-certified physicians. You can get ongoing care from their physicians on any treatment-related questions, doctor-created, doctor recommended. Jace Medical is simple. You go online, fill out a form, you get a prescription, life-saving medications right to your door. The Jace case gives you peace of mind that you're not just hoping that you have access to medication in an emergency. Jace Medical makes sure you have the medication in hand. Get $20 off on these life-saving antibiotics today from Jace Medical by using my code LOCKEDON at checkout at jacemedical.com. That's JASE medical.com. I'm finishing things up with what's next for KU basketball. So they'll take on Kentucky in the Champions Classic on Tuesday. That one will be at 8:30. They have the late game. Now, it's scheduled for 8:30, but because it's the late game, we've seen it start even later than that. If the first game runs a little bit over, it goes to overtime or something. So who knows? Buckle up. Could be not till like 9 o'clock, anything like that. But Kentucky has looked good. I mean, I don't think they looked as good on Friday as maybe they did in their season opener, but it's a very talented team. They have, 3 of the top 5 or 6 recruits in the country. Justin Edwards is in the conversation for the number 1 pick in the NBA draft. Trey Mitchell is experienced and has had some good games against Kansas. Reeves is a good shooter on the outside. So they have talent. They have some veterans in there. I'm high on this Kentucky team compared to where they've been the past couple of years. Now, what does that mean? Does that mean, they're a top 15 team where they're ranked right now? Does that mean they're a top 10 or a top 5 team? I don't know. We're probably going to learn a lot more of that at this specific game, because if they win this game, the hype on Kentucky is going to be out the roof. But if they lose, it's probably okay. Yeah, they're probably just top 15-ish. But either way, it's a good test for you and your best test of the season. That one coming up on Tuesday. KU women's basketball is playing on Monday, and then it's the Champions or the Maui Invitational after that for KU men's basketball with some time off before getting to Chaminade. All right, that'll do it for this episode of Locked On Jayhawks. You can find us anywhere you get your podcast. Sorry for the little darker lighting, doing this around dawn, and the sun's coming up. It's messing with the lighting, whatever. Anyway, thanks for catching us. Find us anywhere you get any of your podcasts and or on our YouTube page. Have a great rest of the day. See you next time with Locked On Jayhawks.